Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I think you guys all know in the last 3 weeks I do not upload any videos, but now I'm now ready to restart my YouTube channel. So I have to explain something about the reason why I did nothing in the previous 3 weeks. The first thing is that I am doing a competition which may be really helpful for my study, which is the John Locke Essay Competition. And since I have already told I am a history student, so I'm attending the history part of this competition, which means I should write a history essay. And since because the summer holiday starts at June, at least in my international school, it starts at the beginning of June, and it means that the competition only give me a whole month to write about. So yes, in the previous 3 weeks, I'm really busy about this essay because I'm a ninth grade, which means a G1 student. So it is actually a bit really difficult for me to complete the essay because I don't know about many things about the essay, which I will talk about later in this video. And also, the another reason I do not upload, apart from the John Locke essay, I'm because busy about it, is because, you know, if Chinese people want to get access to YouTube or like other foreign websites, we need to use something called VPN, which I don't think is legally allowed by our government. But because uh, I the VPN I used last time has already reached the deadline, so I need to try to find out another one to keep using, and yeah, it's uh cost me around it spent me around a week to find out a new one, and now finally I've got the access to YouTube now, and also I do not want to give up this channel by just uploading a few videos, and my final aim is to make this channel become really public, so think I will still doing this thing. And uh, yeah, so what will I talk about in the next few videos? I will talk about some things I learned from John Locke essay during my essay writing, and also uh, like something I gained, and talk about my essay, which is a figure I choose, which is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Firstly, like the deadline is, if you do not make it longer till the mid of July, if you do not would like to pay any money, the deadline is June the 30th, and I uploaded on June the 28th, which is around a week ago. And so I would like to talk about my essay. This essay question is, which figure in human history enlarged human freedom the most? And since it is John Locke essay, so I suppose that I think at least quite. I think there's a number of people who would like to write the figure John Locke, because this is named, this competition is being named after John Locke, so I think this may be a really appropriate figure to write about. So I would like to talk about why I choose Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So actually, first, I'm really determined that I am going to write a history essay, but I'm still not so sure about which essay question would I choose. I used to hesitate about the second essay question a little bit, but finally, I don't think like this decision cost me a really long time. I think just around 1 hour, then I made my final decision, which is right question three. And but although this does not cost long time for me to choose any question, the process that let me determine which figure I will write about is actually cost a really long period of time. So I wonder which figure would I really want to write about. I think for a lot of figures, of course you say John Locke, and also human freedom. I can also write, maybe George Washington, Great America, and also like other figures. Of course, in China, we can write about President Mao. I don't think this would let me avoid me from getting any prizes. I think it's also okay. But finally, I am really determined to write Franklin Delano Roosevelt because I realized if I write John Locke, I would not have enough like support because he is a figure like around, you know, I think at least 400 years ago. So after because I need to choose those figures, I bought a book called A Very Short Introduction of John Locke, which is the VSI series. After I read about it, I found out that there seems to be not very much numbers included in that book, which means after I search in the Google Scholar or the libgen.rs, those two essay websites, I still do not find enough support for this figure. So I think that I'd probably not write those figure which exist like a long period of time ago, because this is my first time writing this essay, which is also my first time writing serious essay. So I don't think I should set like the difficulty level to really decent level. So I think like maybe I need to decrease a little, which maybe make me good at like to prove he is a figure. So I also consider about other figures, but I found out Roosevelt because during the World War II he contributed a lot. Maybe I can make the conclusion, of course, without any really true supportments, that maybe without Roosevelt, the whole human race would not win the war against Adolf Hitler. Of course, this is my guessing, so it do not have any proof. So it actually made me really interested because Roosevelt, he contributed a lot in the Africa front. So actually, Roosevelt is a figure that do not only enlarge the USA's freedom, but also the Africa's. And I also thought about the Normandy operation, which is also supported by Roosevelt. So I also think maybe the Europe is also being supported by Roosevelt. And also, since I'm a history student, I heard from my class that Roosevelt had a plan called Land and Lease Program, and it supports with various countries with really decent amount of money. Also it support China against the fascism. So I think maybe he helped all the people around the country, or even around the whole world, all the people, I would say, enlarge the human freedom, and that's the reason why I choose him. So after I choose him, I know what my goal, and I want to talk about which three parts, usually three parts, since I read about some previous essay papers. So I read about it. Mainly, it should be three parts. Apart from the introduction and conclusion. So I thought about which three things Roosevelt contributed the most to the whole human race. So finally, I'm determined because, apart from the Second World War, Roosevelt actually contributed a lot. A lot on what? Yes, a lot on you heard about New Deal program. Because when Roosevelt first came into power, it is the time that USA is suffer from Great Depression, and according to our history book, it says that, of course, they consider about the hyperinflation happening in Germany, but also the USA's unemployment rate raised to about 20%. Although you may say this unemployment rate not seem so serious, but actually, if you consider about this. So how do we define unemployment rate? We define it as the whole labor forces, which is willing to find out work, but finally fail to find any work, which is being unemployed. So this number means that apart from the 20% labor are not employed, still there are other labor forces by America, other labor forces who are not willing to work. So actually, this is a misallocation of labor force, and so yeah, I think at least Roosevelt changed a lot about that, and so it made me determined to put this in the first part, and of course the second part because I'm using the timeline method, the timeline logic. So I put the things happened during 1930s on the first part of my whole essay, which is Roosevelt and his New Deal, and the second part is the anti-fascism contribution. And when I thought about the third part, I'm actually not very sure about which one should I write about, because I can say Roosevelt set up a really good example for others, which means, like, I would say at least President Lyndon Johnson followed what Roosevelt did. So actually, I'm really hesitated from choosing. Like, there are a lot of people born after Roosevelt, following Roosevelt's steps, or another, which is he led people free from racial discrimination and feminism. Yes. So finally, I choose the freedom from racial discrimination because I think it is a freedom which is much more larger, maybe than the previous choice. So I finally determined to write this, and I think it's really fortunately that I find out all the resources in just 3 weeks, and I think finally I completed at least in my personal opinion, a really high quality. I did my best, my essay. And when I'm uploading the essay, the John Locke Constitution asked me to talk about what I learned from this essay. So I would also talk to you guys. And if you want to know more about how I write this essay or what I write about more detailed, I will talk about it in a week, I would say, just before I go to the England summer camp. And also, during my England summer camp, I would also share some photos or videos or things I see in England, which I think is really meaningful for me, because it is my first time to go alone in foreign countries. My first time, of course, in such a great distance. Maybe I need to fly about 13 to 14 hours. Of course, we need to continue. If you want to know more about this, just subscribe to this channel, and I will publish those videos in the whole July. And also, so now I want to talk about my what I gained from this essay competition, because it is a way I think I use this as a way to choose what I would study in the university. So what would I study? I was first interested in history, but my mother has persuaded, and of course my father, that after you are graduated, because you're an international student, after you're graduated from the college or the university, even in China we call G5, which is Oxford, Cambridge, IC, LSE, and UCL. Those 5 colleges, I cannot even get a well-paid work. So I think so. My family persuaded me to study something like economics or economic history, or because they knew that I'm a historyholic, really fond of history, so they tried to persuade me to study another profession. So actually, I think that maybe I need to use this if I get any kind of prize. I would say I would be talented in history. And what I learned from this, because since it is the first essay I have ever written, I think I gained a lot. First is without any help. The first thing, because I'm not native speaker, I do not speak English. My mother tongue, of course, is Chinese. So actually, I met a lot of difficulties during this whole essay because many times I need to use the translator to translate my language, but also you have to confess that the translator is powered by artificial intelligence, which make their language not so fluent. But I have no one to be help. Both of my mother and father cannot speak English, and also I have no cousins, no teachers. So I find myself in a really awkward position, and I have to think a lot of things about how to write this really fluently. Yeah, so this brought me a lot of difficulties. I would say the time I spend on fixing my language problem is almost a half of the no, 1/3 of the total time I write this essay. Yeah, so it is really I think maybe exhausted for me, but after I write about the whole essay, I think at least I improve my English to a large extent. And also for the second part, I think I know how to write a serious essay without repeating many words, because at my school, during my school study when I am studying history, IGCSE paper one, paper one question C, no matter which time I am answering the question, I always find out myself repeating the information or the history facts again and again, and I cannot solve this problem because I think it is really important to emphasize. But after I write this whole essay, I find out it is not, because you need to finish your whole essay with a really complete logic in just 2,000 words. It is a really difficult job, but it is never more difficult than the personal statement within, I would say, 600 words. So actually, it is a challenge that pushed me really harshly. So I kept when I write my first edition of my whole essay paper, you can guess how many words that I write. After I want to close my logic, I write around 5,000 words, which is the actual number of words is 4,900, and if I can remember correctly, 25. So those words, I need to cut it just in 2,000 words. So actually, I'm really difficult when I am cutting things, because I always cut things that is really important, which means I omit those important information, and without them, I cannot close my gap. And I learn which information should be protected, should be still exist in this essay, and what kind of information you can omit, you can delete it. So first thing is that if you met any kind of number or your citation, no, citation I will talk about later. If you met any number, you better keep it, because if you can get more number, it may let your essay question become more persuasive. And also the second thing is that you, after if you complete your whole logic, you need to find out those important steps when you complete your whole essays, whole logic, and without deleting those two things, the other things, I think, in my own opinion, can be deleted. So yes, I work really hard. I work clock in and clock out in those period of time. And also, the third skill I learned is about citation. I actually do not know what is citation. Maybe just copying other saying into my essay question. No, it's not. Citation is that you need to absorb others' opinion in your essay question, but you may not copy them. And also, all I'm really confused about is standard or yes, because there is a format called APA, which I do not know what it is. So of course, when I finished my first edition, I found out that all my citations are wrong. I do not do any single citation correctly. Yeah, this is too awkward. So I finally, with the help of Britannica, when you when you click the dot or just ask the bot, it will give you some advice of APA structure. So I finally complete it, and also I think I am generally improved in history, and I know more about Roosevelt, this really great figure, which I will talk about in a week about those 3 paragraphs I written about. And also, I think not only my history skill improved, but also I think my English also improved a lot. Yes, that's might be something I would like to share about this competition. And if you guys want to hear much more professional things or much more detailed things, please just keep following this channel and I will talk about it like 1 or 2 days later. See you.